Hey, how's it going, my fine sirs, and welcome to Tea Time with Grey. Now, I just got back from VidCon this morning, and good God, I am tired. Despite this, it was an absolutely amazing experience. I had so much fun, and to be honest, I learned so much and met so many different people that the whole thing is just a whole jumble in my mind right now. So this is why I thought that I'd use this opportunity to share some of the things which I enjoyed and the things which I didn't enjoy as much about VidCon EU in an attempt to really just make sense of it all. So Hank Green, if you're listening, prepare for some feedback which you never asked for, but you're still gonna get. So let's start off with the positives. First of all, I think one of the best things about VidCon EU this year has definitely been how informal the panels have been, how literally, you know, the YouTubers or the people from the YouTube industry literally delivered a panel, and that literally straight afterwards you could go up to them and have a chat. And I was extremely fortunate that my first panel on 9 AM Saturday morning, the first panel that I've ever been to, was actually hosted by two YouTubers who I greatly admire. The first one was LDSHADOWLADY, whose video about how to create a gaming channel pretty much has molded the channel as it is today, or heavily influenced it in one way or another. And the second one was Matthew Patrick, or how he's commonly known on the internet as MATPAT, who runs the Game Theory channel. Now, I watch his stuff pretty much religiously. I've watched nearly all of his stuff, and I think it was absolutely amazing how I could just go up to them and throw some banter, especially to MATPAT. He's done a Dark Souls 3 video recently, and it was great just to challenge him on it. And it was just nice to see them as, you know, just everyday human being, and to have that professional respect, I guess. Even though the number of subscribers difference is in the order of magnitudes, it was just fantastic just for them to be so approachable and for them to just, you know, give us some knowledge. The second point which I really enjoyed was simply how high quality the talks were. And this is both from like a YouTuber's perspective and a YouTube industry perspective, where the former VidCon brought along like YouTube veterans like Swoozy, who's been on the platform for like 10 years, and then compared their experience to someone like Superstam Stuff, who's only been on the platform, or who's been on the platform for a lot less time. And not only comparing how differently their channels interact and just survives just purely based upon the different number of subscribers they have, but also their differences in experience of growing an audience, nurturing a community, and how they balance that with their other parts of their lives. From a YouTube industry perspective, we had someone called Matt Geelan, I think that was his name, from Little Monster Co., who I've never met someone who knew more about the YouTube algorithm than this guy. He literally approached I think his company approaches it pretty much like a science, trying to identify which factor, like retention, session starts, whatever, which of all of these factors which we have as YouTube creators have very little data on, actually affects how well a video will do in its lifetime. And that was just amazing because it's something which I never even thought about, and I didn't realize how important these factors were in growing your channel and making successful videos. Probably point number 3 is the most important. It's one of the main reasons why I went there. And that was simply to meet other YouTubers who were in a very similar situation to me. I find it quite amazing how we made such good relationships even over just a simple weekend. And it just is a testament to how when people are pursuing a goal together, it's an amazing driving force to bring people together. I've tried to link as many channels in the description of the people I met. Please go check them out because I think they're really amazing people. Now, of course, it's impossible for an experience to be purely positive. There are always points to improve. And I think The first, most obvious one was the fact that when I arrived at VidCon, since I was all by myself, there was no like ice-breaking event. It was really awkward. Like, we have to remember that most of us are netizens in their purest form. Like, it's a freaking miracle, speaking for myself, that we actually emerged from our mother's basement, like, let alone fly to a different country to meet other people. And it was just, I think it was a really missed opportunity that they didn't have an ice-breaking session right at the beginning. Something really simple, maybe just for an hour, just for people to get to know each other, and it just to easily integrate us into making friends. So please, VidCon next year, since I will definitely be going, please just make our lives easier and just try and set something like that us. My life is already awkward as it is, and it doesn't need to be more so. The second point, it kind of ties into the first, is the fact that Amsterdam, where VidCon EU was held this year, is my favorite capital city of all time, and it's one of my favorite places on earth. It's beautiful. However, I felt like I left the conference and it could have taken place on the moon, because even though the venue was really good and it was very close to the airport, we didn't see anything of Amsterdam. And obviously I'm not expecting VidCon to organise like a coffee shop crawl through the dingy streets of Amsterdam, not at all. Like, even if it was just a dinner on Saturday night, just to get people into the city, I think that would have been really something, again, to make people more comfortable with each other, and for people to, as an extra memory of VidCon. The third and final point, I don't really know where the fault lies. It probably lies in many different areas, but I just noticed that there were so few French people at this year's VidCon, and that really surprised me because I know there are many popular French YouTubers, and I actually discovered why. It's because there's the equivalent of French YouTube on exactly the same day in Paris. I just think for next year, hopefully those two events won't cross over, because I follow quite a few French YouTubers, and I'd love to have the same sort of interaction that I had with MATPAT and LDSHADOWLADY this time round, next time with them. So anyway, that pretty much sums up my thoughts on VidCon EU 2017. I thought overall, despite its flaws, it was an absolute blast. I thought it was an amazing trip, and even though I had to get up at 5 o'clock this morning and fly into work, it was worth it, 100%. Like, it really made me realize how much room there is for improvement on the channel, and how much my channel is in its infancy, and how much there is to go, which is kind of exciting, kind of humbling, and that's why there'll probably be, over the next 6 months, quite a lot of small changes that will accumulate, and I think, and I hope, they will be for the best. So as I said, I'll be experimenting with some new formats. If you sirs have any ideas on what I can do differently, what I can improve upon, please leave them down in the comments below. As I've said before in my previous vlog, my best content is actually stuff which I've done for you sirs, which you've recommended. So don't be shy, just leave it down below, and I'll try and accommodate it as much as I can. Anyway sirs, this brings us to the end of Tea Time with Grey. I hope you enjoyed this VidCon video. I hope I've inspired you to come along next year, because it was a blast. If you sirs enjoyed this video, please don't forget to bestow a like and subscribe to become a sir today. So as always, stay cool, stay classy, and I will see you sirs in the next video.